you're new to pool and practicing the basics, or a more experienced player performing drills to improve your shot making and positional play, the Drill Partner is perfect for you.
What in the world are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all
What am I
right.
doing over here? You doing good,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mike? There's a lot of. Listen, it's December 17th, and there's a pool tournament going on, Mike. I don't know if you know or not. I know you're shipping it in by this time of the year. You know what I mean?
Mail,
You're on cruise.
mail into here by now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
well, it's kind of late in the season for you know, uh, an event. I give them credit for giving it a shot. But Women's World Nine Ball is the real deal. Men's Open a little bit soft, right? And it could be expected. It's didn't fill the field. A lot of players missing, but that's just timing of the event relative to the guys having gone through the fourth quarter that they've already been through. There's a lot of guys who can dial it at this point.
Probably the most grueling part too. You know what I mean? Like post Asia and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So we'll get into
a lot of time on the road.
Yeah, a lot of miles on there. And the defending champion's not even there, France. We're going to get into all that. We got the men's open we're going to be covering. I just watched Filler and Shaw in a thrilling 4-1, 4-1 match. So we're going to get into that. The mixed doubles.
Why do you say it was thrilling, Mike?
Well, usually I say save for the show, but this is the show. So we'll save it for a few minutes, I should say. But before we get into the Predator Pro Billiard Series, I got a little surprise guest from my man over here, and I don't do a lot of work here, but every now and then I'll get a decent guest, and so I want to surprise my man Mike with none other than Keith Paradise. Keith, introduce yourself for those who may not know you. You wear a lot of hats in the industry, buddy.
Mike, I guess it's Mike Squared. Panozzo, he's really scraping the bottom of the barrel to talk about Moscone at this point if he's bringing me on.
Yeah.
So, like, tomorrow, are you going to talk to the guy who sweeps up the beer cups at Alexandra Palace?
Yeah.
And we're going to find out. No, I've been working for Mike for what's it going to? It's going to be 10 years in March.
Really?
Yeah, it'll be 10 years.
Do you get like a pin or something? Do you get like a pin or something?
No, I think what I get is more work.
Autographed Hall of Fame photo.
There you go. Yeah, right back there. It's right there. So
that's pretty good, Mike. That's pretty good, buddy.
Cue ball and he'll have someone else sign it, so it'll be signed. It'll be misspelled.
Yeah. I wanted to bring Keith in for a segment to give us his perspective on the Moscone Cup, and then we'll dive into the Predator Pro Billiard Series. But before we do that, the number one question I got to ask you, Keith, and this is like, and I need you to be real honest with me here, okay?
Oh boy! God!
We're gonna get to the
Mike,
bottom.
When
of this
have I
right
ever not been honest with you?
Well, that's true, but I want to do it with Panozzo here while the lights are bright. So, who had worse rooming conditions? Was it Team USA, or did Billiards Digest put you in a shack underneath the table or something there at Apple Palace?
Listen. Mike gave me the option of booking my own room and sending him the bill, and which I did. So I made sure I had fantastic accommodations. I am certain that I will probably be doing this trip again in 2 years. I'm going to rely on the expertise of others because apparently I'm not real good with a map. I had a great hotel that I couldn't get into or out of. Nobody wanted to do the Uber trip. So
really?
Yeah, because
people are.
It's like anything else. You look
afraid of. The Uber drivers are a little afraid of East London at 11 o'clock at night.
I thought, looking at a map, it didn't look that far. I thought it looked fine. No, my accommodations were great. The restaurant within the hotel, not so much. I didn't know you could screw up pizza, but they found a way.
Sure. When in London, right? As they say.
Pizza is your first mistake.
No kidding. Actually, I have to say the pub at Alexandra Palace that does the pizza, that's really good. I think I finally learned the hard way after way too many years on this planet. Read the full description in the menu. Because I stopped when I saw pepperoni, ham, and sausage. I did not see that it also had jalapenos and a honey mustard balsamic glaze.
Okay, you lost me at the end there. You had me at jalapenos, and then the detour.
Yeah,
honey mustard
the
glaze.
The kippers were extra.
Hey,
oh man, Keith, no, now I have not heard anything. You guys have seen more about the accommodations for the U.S. team than I have. Everything that I saw was social media. Have you guys talked to any of the players about how bad it was or was not?
I saw a couple of little videos of how bad it was, but
did you see the wait, you saw a video, Mike? I think pretty sure I saw that same video. It was pretty funny, by the way.
Yeah, it was very funny. So, but listen, I'm not going to play conspiracy theorist. I don't think this was like an intentional thing. I just think that whoever dialed this up for Matchroom didn't check the properties they were dialing up. And I don't know if Jason had, kind of handpicked his and they okayed it or what, but they didn't stick America for grins.
Mike, they filmed an episode of Cribs with Team Europe, and then
I know
coincidentally,
they filmed Joseph
the USA episode of Cribs did not make the cutting room floor. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I'm not one for conspiracy theories myself, but I'm just saying it's a pretty big coincidence there, if you ask me, buddy.
Coincidence. Jason Shaw knew he had a nice place and talked to Carl, and they said, "Let's get a crew out there." And that's because that's the homeboy, that's the guy they're going to do all that around him. So yeah, I mean, but not surprisingly, Sky didn't go over and say, "Oh, Carl should come and do a video at our place because it's awesome."
Look, I heard they were really tilted. Like, I heard some members of Team
but
USA
I also heard that
were really tilted.
I also heard nobody went to Matchroom right away and said, "Get us out of this dump." That's what I would have done. I would have said, "Listen, this place sucks. Get us out of here." If they said that and Matchroom said no, that would be the first I'm hearing of it. But I didn't hear anything about anybody running back to Matchroom's office saying, we have a rat-infested, rooming accommodation.
Well, listen, I'm going to stop there before I get myself in any trouble. But I did hear a little bit. It was pretty funny. And I saw couple of video photos. It was we'll just leave the ants there in England. So Keith,
what you're saying is, Mike, we're kind of the same age. Do you remember the movie Joe's Apartment?
Yeah. yeah. I heard it was a little dumpy. A little dumpy for sure, and not to mention the fact that like there's some like divas on Team USA, like, and they travel all over the world. They like staying in a nice hotel. Shane likes staying in a nice hotel. Federer likes staying in nice hotels. I don't know about the hillbillies. Tyler looks like he's good on the couch somewhere because he's going to be at the practice room. So, but yeah, it's just. Like I said, it would have been funnier had they did the Team USA version of Cribs, given the circumstances.
That would have been comedy gold. That would have been comedy gold.
Sure.
Right there.
Oh, you could have deadpanned that so well.
Oh god, yeah.
This is our one curtain for all of the windows in the house.
They could have mixed and matched, blended into two videos for contrast. That would have been fantastic.
Yeah. It was pretty like when I saw the comparison photos of like the living room and then the kitchen and all those things. I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, I feel like I'm getting pumped, So anyway, Keith, give me your thoughts on how the event went. Maybe some insight to some of the players that you got to speak to out there, and just the overall setup over the course of those whatever it was 4 days.
I mean, the event I thought looked great. The competition at the table, not so much, as we all saw. I really feel like it starts at the beginning with Team USA in that every year Jason Shaw sets the bait in the press conference.
Yeah.
Every year they fall for the banana in the tailpipe. I mean, I can recall, Mike, you may remember, was it 2020, the COVID year, where he called the American team a bunch of snakes?
Yeah.
And they got all bent out of shape over that. And while they were trying to figure out why he was calling them snakes, they just went out and drilled them. And, you know, he got in their heads again with the whole thing with Lucas. And I saw the text message that says that, you know, Shane didn't want Billy on the team. And we went down that whole rabbit hole again. And it's like right from the get-go, you're letting them play mind games with you. Just don't fall into it. And they did. You know,
well, somebody should have known better not to leak that damn message to Shaw. Like, don't.
Yeah,
and I'm sure it was told. I'm sure it was told in confidence, like, you know, between the boys, so to speak. You know what I mean? But somebody opened their mouth where he ended up getting that. I heard the same thing, and Shaw wasn't wrong. But you don't go tell that guy that, not ahead of the press conference. You know.
You know, I mean, they got better each day. I shouldn't say they didn't play well day one, obviously. They played pretty well day 2, day 3. They seemed to really kind of catch their bearings. And then by day 4, yeah, it was what it was. I think everybody just assumed it was a foregone conclusion. I give Emily a lot of credit for day 2 when it got cut after 3 matches. Jack came in and told us, because the protocol was, hey, whoever you want to talk to, let me know ahead of time and I'll try to arrange for them to come into the media center after play is done. So I sent my little Christmas list over to Jack. And when I saw him, he said, you know, I'm bringing Jason, I'm bringing this guy, I'm bringing this guy, and Emily's coming too.
Nice.
So Emily came and faced the music. She could have very easily, you know, called it after 3 matches and pulled an Eric Cartman. But she came in, she answered all questions. She was very upfront about how she was not happy with how things were progressing from a competitive standpoint. And she addressed it day 2. She addressed it in the video and the press conference that we did on the final day. So she knows she's got a problem there and she's not running from it. So props to her on that.
Yeah, I always respect Emily for getting in front of tough
100%.
questions at times, especially whenever you're in the building. You know, she'll give you that. She'll give you that courtesy for sure. You know, and I love if you guys missed the video, go check out Billiards Digest Live. Mike, they can check that out on the APA page and on the Billiards Digest Facebook page as well, right?
Facebook page, APA YouTube page. Yeah, good interview with her that Keith did when he was out there. What did they say about Team USA not making themselves available at the end of the tournament?
I asked Jack, so basically Team Europe came in. And then I asked Jack, because obviously it's very obvious that no one from the American side was there. And I don't know if it was a matchroom thing or a Team USA thing, but I was told that the American team had already packed it up and gone home. Now, as you recall last year in Orlando, the American team was very open to talking to us afterwards. I remember talking to Tyler and Skylar and all those guys after the event was done at the resort. So,
which is not easy to do. Like when you've got questions you want to ask, I have a hard time talking to I don't want to say losers, but like the guys who don't win. You know what I mean? Like, and I did that one time. I'll never forget, and it was with the guy who I consider a friend. And when I asked him for, and it wasn't even the Mosconi Cup, but when I asked him about speaking, he was like, "I just lost," and I was like, "All right, that's the last time I'm gonna be asking anybody that loses." You know, but it's always a difficult ask.
It's a difficult ask, but it is one you have to do. I mean, I come from a sports background, and when you do high school football, you talk to the coach who won, you talk to the coach who lost. And sometimes the coach you lost has better stuff for you than the coach you won. The coach you won's always happy. The coach you lost is always like, man, we didn't do anything on third down. And I'm really disappointed in the turnover margin and all of those things. You have to do that. Matchroom's gotten better at making the losers available. I don't know whose decision it was, but it was
to me it shouldn't be. To me, they shouldn't get better at it. To me, that's a responsibility.
Right.
It's like the NFL. If the losing Super Bowl team said, we really don't feel like, and the NFL would say, I don't really care. This is our event. Yeah. Part of your contract is when it's done, we're doing a press conference afterwards, and you got to man up. So and if nobody really pushed it, then they got away easy. But yeah, I don't think it's ever a problem.
They've done that before, Mike, where they've been a buffer between like not wanting to get in, and I've been there. I remember when Federer.
I mean, usually it's a particular player at the end of a particular day or something like that. It's like that type of thing. But at the end of it, you trot those guys out there. That's part of your responsibility as a promoter. If you've got press who've spent the time and the effort to go there, to not walk out of that locker room and be able to talk to the losing team. That to me that's just blocking and tackling. That's basic stuff. So,
and we talked to Team Europe. We talked to Team Europe that one time after the Reyes Cup, and they were all great, Jason included. After
every Mosconi Cup that I've been to, they always used to allow access into their practice room as they were packing their stuff up. And you'd pull somebody aside and talk to them, sit them down, whatever. And they were always very gracious. If someone said, I really don't want to talk right now, that's fine too. So, but I think that's something that like I said, if there's press who've taken the time to go out there and are going to cover their event, write about their event, and do what they want the press to do, these guys got to be available.
Yeah.
That was my only beef with the whole thing.
Yeah, that was mine too. I did get Skyler day one, day two. He was up front with, why they weren't winning. We got Fedor, we got Billy, we got Shane. The only one that we did not get in the media room and, draw your own conclusion on this one was Tyler. Was he being shielded? I could see them. I could see them.
They got him on video
if he wanted to come out.
They interviewed him on video.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, and it's clear that he wasn't backing away from any questions or any criticism. So I'm not sure what I would read into that, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like I think it's this weird mix of just wanting to get the content, you know what I mean, no matter what it is. And so obviously the Tyler thing would have been a tough situation. Kudos to him because that was his response. I thought was not the social media response. I mean that was too, but like the video response I thought was great. Just embracing it all.
It's as a writer, that's the type of stuff you're looking for. So yeah, these guys, they should be made available.
I did. Emily was doing a scrum with a couple of reporters who are not billiards reporters, I think, who were based in England, in the media room. So this isn't like, it wasn't a private conversation. She was talking directly with these folks. And it sounds like the atmosphere that was created on that 9-ball for Tyler is something they would like to see more of because they would like to see Mosconi Cup become more like darts. So she didn't hold back on that. And so you could say her and Tyler are aligned in how they envision this going forward. But, I just wanted to bring that up. I didn't get a chance to ask her about it directly, but I did hear her talking to 2 or 3 reporters in a scrum there mentioning that.
Yeah, I think that's the event, if anything, that like definitely lends itself to it, more than anything. And I think that like the sport in general, just like I'm good with, like at the time I felt bad for Tyler, right? And especially considering how in years past the referees always calmed the crowd down during those big shots. But like if once you open up Pandora's box, which they've kind of like crept it open over the years, you know what I mean? But it seems like they completely took it off the hinges at this point, which I'm good with, just as long as like that's the new standard, and that'll toughen up players. And Tyler will be a better player in the long run for
Listen,
us.
I watched Fran's last rack last year in Florida, and there was plenty of whistling and hooting, whatever, when he was down on the 9-ball. So, I mean, the precedent has been set. It seemed a little bit more this year because they really started, with the roar, well before he even stepped down for the shot. But I'm okay with it. Again, it's always going to be, there's going to be people who are going to push the envelope and see where the line is. Someone's going to have to figure out what that is sooner or later, whether it's waving stuff, whether it's, an air horn, whether it's whatever. I mean, what's going to be too much? I like the idea. There's our man Raven.
Shocking.
I love them screaming when the guy's down on the shot. As long as they're not throwing stuff in front of them and waving, I don't mind that. For the Mosconi Cup, I don't want to see it at the World Championship. I want to see it at the U.S. Open. But for Mosconi Cup, that's a different atmosphere. It's more Ryder Cup golf. It's like, have at it. But you're going to have to, there's going to be a line you're going to have to police, and you're going to have to figure out what that is.
I mean, I'm a huge golf fan. I look at it like this. This is our Phoenix Open. Or what is it called?
The Waste Management Open?
The Waste Management Open.
Yeah.
This is our par 3 with people losing their minds, drunk off their ass. It's a one-off event. It's not the norm week in and week out. For 4 days, for something that really lends itself to being as much a television show as it is actual competition, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Well, at this point, it's far more a television show than it has been competition. Right. Now, on the note of competition, Keith, I want to get you out of here on this before we jump on into Pro Billiard Series talk. What do you think has to happen for Team USA for them to be competitive? Let's just start in the immediate for next year.
Well, as I was putting the story together for Mike at 2 a.m. this weekend, just going through some of my notes, they've lost 6 in a row. 3 of those have been by a score of 11-3. So, in 50% of the 6 that you've lost, you've been non-competitive in those. I think the Americans need to be, and this is going to be the vaguest answer ever, they need to be ready and willing to accept anything at this point. If it means bringing in a coach, if it means bringing in a non-playing captain, I mean, I know that some of them have bristled at the idea of bringing Johan back, but at the end of the day, Johan won back-to-back cups, and you've lost 6 in a row. What was it Parcells said? You are what your record says you are.
Yeah.
Well, the record right now ain't good. So I think that I would prefer it stay within the United States, because if we start expanding into Canada and Venezuela and that whole deal, it starts to really get, cartoonish.
I don't want to break anybody's hearts here, but Canada's not saving the U.S. I'm sorry for everybody who thinks that John Mora and or Alex Pagulayan. I love Alex, but they're not coming to save the red, white, and blue. Trust me. Yeah. I would put any one of the 5 guys that we got.
Listen, we all know if Josh Filler lived in Toronto, we'd have been pushing Canada 3 years ago.
Oh, if Josh lived in Toronto, we're opening the border, son. You know what I mean? Like we're
Let's think about this for a minute. Jason Shaw's lived in Connecticut for a decade. I mean,
if he don't want to play for Team USA,
that's no different. He doesn't want to play for USA for one. For two, it's no different than Greg Norman living in Florida for a zillion years, or any other European golfer who lives in Florida and still plays for Europe for the Ryder Cup. So, we've got a couple of extenuating circumstances with with a Torsten, with a Federer, possibly coming up in the next couple of years with a Jesus. Those are a little bit different. But just because someone moves over here and lives, like Mika did, or Torsten did, or Jason does, that to me doesn't all of a sudden, give you free reign on them. That's cheap.
The bottom line is there's no quick fix to this. I don't think there's anything that we're going to do that is gonna turn this around quickly. Am I wrong? Or you guys am I seeing things in a different way? What do you guys think?
Yeah. I mean, I think like at this point, and I've mentioned this a few
I
times
mean,
on the show,
I
but
have
just
said bring back
anything different will at least be more entertaining on the sports eye, because at least you'll have some curiosity with it, you know. But when you bring in and the same group of guys over and over and over again, and the scoreline is what it is, to your point earlier about somebody's record, you know, I think like the unknown will at least be more interesting than where we're at right now. And I feel like because of the lack of talent and maybe or personality, and because of the way the system is set up, you know, there's just not a lot of there's not a lot of guys to choose from, which is unfortunate. But I think it's time to like rip that band-aid off. And, you know, you've already had suffered attendance, you've already had, you know, call-in days early. Like that's the worst that can happen. You know what I mean? It's already uncompetitive. So like if that's the worst that can happen, let's at least see some fresh faces in the mix, is what I would say. You know?
something that Emily said day two that kind of grabbed my attention because, like I said, she came in and faced the music after she cut things off. And she apparently came in and talked to us after dealing with some, pissed off spectators that paid good money to see an evening of pool and only got 3 matches.
Oh, Darren mentioned that, didn't he, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Darren mentioned it. Johan mentioned it as well. I asked her, do you have a formula for this? Do you guys have a plan for, hey, if this starts to get out of control in one direction or the other, that like, hey, if the score gets to this, we're going to cut it off at this point? And she said she did not. They're kind of, trying to strike a balance between having competitive play and then also giving the fans value. And she said, we monitor, group chats and some social medias that give us a feel for what we think we may want to do. And I started putting 2 and 2 together. There were a lot of people criticizing this year's Cup and saying that it felt like the vibes were off. Something just didn't seem right. It seems, I'm sure she's reading those as well. And to what you guys were talking about, it is a television production, and television productions start to lose viewership when the product starts to get stale. Yeah. And I'm sure she's aware of that. And at the end of the day, this is their biggest brand. It's their biggest brand that they can also do whatever they want with. I mean, really, we moved Fedor over to the American team. She could bring in 5 Filipinos if she wanted to and be like, this is Team America. And
I'm in.
And we'd be like, this one doesn't even speak English. Don't worry about it. USA.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure she will find a fix. The good thing about Matchroom is they're business people. They're not pool people. They're going to find a way to keep this going because they don't want the word stale associated with their brand. And I saw stale, off. I saw those words being used in social media when I got home from the event and was scrolling in my room that was a 45-minute Uber ride away.
Thanks, Mike.
So that's what you like? You want an all-Filipino team in USA jerseys?
I'll take it, buddy, at this point. Anything's better. I'll take whatever. You know what I mean? So switch it up, change it up, whatever the hell we got to do. On that note, we're going to switch over to Pro Billiard Series. I appreciate you for coming on, my man. We're going to have you on again.
Both. Thanks for having me.
Back to work.
There you go,
I already
Mike.
Sent you everything. I'm getting back to work.
Don't forget to send him the invoice too.
February issues right around the corner, buddy.
Oh God, don't remind me. It's like a wave. You get over one wave and then you.
Oh, the worst is coming, buddy. You got Derby City, Super Billiards Expo, Vegas. The gauntlet's just this is downtime right now. So just get ready.
Mike, if we are invited to Hayball Masters in China, you know the answer this year, right?
Oh, I'm fucking in. Hayball. I'm in, buddy.
I'll
100%.
go.
Let's go.
If they're offering to have us come over, I'd be happy to do that. That's a once in a lifetime.
Mike, I'll be I'll be like Emily's light holder for the selfies. You know what I mean, for Keith. So anyhow, Keith,
this is a sitcom if there ever was one. Me and Melina, Mike, and China. Two morons that don't know the language. We barely know the language in the country we live in, and now we're going to go to China.
Let me tell you,
you got to look at the you got to look at the replays of me and Melina, Mike in Manila.
Whoo, buddy, yeah. Let me tell you, Mike's ass. I'm the younger one of the group. Mike's ass was getting in at like 6 a.m. on the last day. And listen, we'll save that for the 30 for 30. Keith, I appreciate you. We're gonna run.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for hanging out, buddy. Keith's a really good guy, Mike. I always appreciate seeing him wherever he's at, man. So, I wanted to kind of surprise it. Yeah, I think like the Emily interview that you guys got out there was great. And I think the number one thing, because you always hear we talked about conspiracy theories start the show, but I think that like fans need to realize that like bottom line is they want it to be competitive. They're rooting for Team USA. They really want it to be balanced and back and forth.
Yeah, they do, but what he also talked about that I thought was adds a different layer to it is staleness of the program, right? And the staleness of the program isn't only tied to the score. The staleness of the program is watching the same event year after year after year. It's watching the same Team Europe antics. It's watching the same Jason Shaw arm waves. It's watching the same, it's okay. I've seen this before. So, not only do you need to start looking at tinkering with the teams or make the team stronger, to me, you need to look at how to present the whole program a little bit differently, because that part of it is just as the competitive. Now, naturally, increased competitiveness makes it changes the dynamic of the whole event, and then all of a sudden you've got something worth watching. But in the meantime, the competitiveness is not the only thing that has gotten stale.
Yeah, I think like we've seen this in like all sports when you have this like changing of the guards in terms of stars leaving. I remember in UFC in its heyday when you had like the Chuck Liddells and Tito Ortiz's, and there was like St. Pierre, and you're like, man, who's going to come next? You know what I mean? But like in pool, it's already an uphill battle, right? Because it's thought of as a boring game, blah blah blah. There's not a lot of personalities, but there hasn't been a lot to like cultivate these. Like these up and coming players, and if they do get a little bit of a spotlight, it's very flash in the pan, on to the next one. And so there's no like follow up there. And even with the lack thereof, it's like, man, how many times do we see the guy who got arguably the biggest wave out of this Mosconi Cup and filler? Like, how many times do we see him off a TV table this year in major events because of personal or past issues between him and Matchroom? You know what I mean? So it's like, and you can't, as much as you need to like really focus on the guys who are getting fans excited and put asses in the seats and have exciting style of play. It's like you also got to think about the guys up and coming. We've seen these guys for the most part over and over and over again for however many years it's been now, Mike. So
yeah.
I'm sweating pool. I mean, I'm sweating sports like always. And I'm seeing Phillip Rivers coming back after being gone 5 years. And I'm like, damn, he was gone for 5 years. I didn't even realize he was out for 5 years, you know what I mean? And Caleb Williams, after a terrible season last year, now he's leading the Bears to a strong season this year, and it's like, and now this playoff season is going to be interesting because you got no Burrow, you got no Mahomes, you got all these guys who have been staples of the NFL for so long, right? No Brady, no Peyton Manning, guys who I just loved watching over the last 15 plus years. But it's like, you're going to have this new wave of guys go in, and they're going to have to kind of like start to write their own legacy, and like, I think I mentioned one time to you, it's like, you can't, the way that this system is kind of set up, it's kind of like, listen, we're putting the Cowboys in the NFC Championship no matter what, no matter how trash they are, how terrible they are, how uncompetitive they are, and that's kind of like, that's what I would equate it to, the way that this event's kind of been built. And this is why, like, on the note of the Pro Billiard Series, Mike, I've kind of like admired the way they've been kind of adapting things and shifting things and different dynamics. And we saw a bank thing in Vegas and a one pocket thing. We're seeing a men's event, a women's event, a Scotch doubles event, which, by the way, I didn't hear her mention anything about World Cup of Pool on the note of Scotch doubles. So, it's like, it's the same old, it's the same old show, Mike. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, there's there's two different things. I mean, World Nine Ball Tour, they've got a lot of opportunity there. But when you talk about Moscone Cup, which is a singular event, then it changed a little bit because they're kind of you don't have a lot of options in the U.S.
Yeah.
It's not like, the wrong guys are on the team because there's all these other guys who play better and all that you don't have that. You don't have that. Here's the structure we'll go to get them to play better. The coaches, the academies, the funding from a government,
sure,
or whatever it is. So they're just the answers aren't really real easy in the U.S. So
look,
that's not helping.
Look, there's another event going on with short races that are intense from the jump. And I know that
Speaking of U.S., look at all those U.S. flags in there.
we're stealing this event, man, for the red, white, and blue. No, but it's like you and obviously I know it's 10 ball. I know it's a different promoter, but when I think about like intense pressure from the jump, like this is as close to like a Moscone Cup style boot camp as you can get. You know what I mean? And here we are. In this event, Mike, I think Tyler's the only American out of Team USA that's playing in this event. Out of the European side of it, only Filler and Jason, which played earlier today. But like, if there was, and you've mentioned this a few times, which I thought was one of the best things I've ever heard you say, is that like, listen, some of these events just have to be different than one another. It can't keep on being these guys who are ranked number one, who are facing the same guys in the second and third round, and it's the same race to 9. It's the same this, same that, over and over and over again for the last 3-4 years. And then especially when you have like the Super Bowl, so to speak, end up being as flat as it is, and it's like, well, then what was the season really for? You're just putting on individual tournaments, basically. There was a lot of cool matches up to start this event, Mike, on the men's side of things. Just kind of browsing through here. Did you get to watch the Filler versus Shaw one? Because that was a pretty on paper anyway.
I did not.
It was 4-1, 4-1, 4-1 in favor of the German. Are you surprised seeing Jason play out there in Jacksonville, Mike?
Yeah.
Do you know anything about that?
I didn't really catch anything that he or anything that said why he was playing there. It's unusual for him to play in a Pro Billiard Series event. It's not like like a Tyler thing where your wife's also playing and you can play Scotch doubles, that type of thing. It's Jason being down there playing there. I'm not really sure, what drove that. So I'd be interesting to ask him, why he did that.
It was great seeing them. Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, yeah. Well, you know what? On paper, I kind of like that. This kid's been like a guy to kind of watch for on tournament brackets. Kind of like Arsini-esque as far as like being an unknown, but you start seeing his name pop up and start seeing him get decent wins. And the Germans are so deep, like we've talked about before, Mike. But yeah, you got Atencio loses to Georgie, which is shocking because Jesus has got a big 10-ball break. But this rack is real gaffy, Mike. I mean, super, super gaffy. They're breaking from the side. They got no idea what's happening. It's like Slug City out there in Jacksonville, But and actually, Jesus and Tyler there, Mike, are probably those two guys in particular. Like if you put them on a template, probably have two of the top 5 best 10-ball breaks on the planet, Mike. Do those two guys right there. So to see them kind of go out, and really that's just I think it's just a credit to like how tough that this is to kind of go and clock. You know what I'm saying? Like these events, I mean.
Yeah, really difficult. It's just such a, it's so up for grabs. Just did lose in a shootout, right? Yeah.
Did he? Oh, I didn't see that. I did not see that. Mike, you had an interesting take on this on the men's side of things beforehand. I'm a fan of the field, but you thought the field was a little bit on the softer side after browsing through everything.
Well, I mean, for one, it didn't fill. 70 something players, low 70s was geared at 96. Then a couple were in the thing, didn't even show up like Hachi.
But she would have been a top 5 guy to win this event, Mike, which is kind of,
yeah,
you know what I
I
mean?
was when I saw his name in there to start with, and then he show, which was not a surprise to anybody. But so smaller field, and yeah, a lot of players missing. The Spaniards, most of the Team USA guys. A lot of the usual suspects are there. It's a good field. Josh is there, Jason's there, Albin, Victor.
And you don't even get to see Josh play these events a whole lot, neither. Like kind of like Jason, Mike.
What's that?
No, I was saying you don't even see Josh play a lot of these Pro Billiard Series events, historically.
Yeah. So interesting that but for a Josh, like I said, it makes sense for him because it's the Women's World Championship, and Pia's going to play, and they've got a doubles event, so it may this event makes sense to him. It's something that doesn't surprise me that they were in. I mean, they've won one of the PBS double championships before, so
one of the best ones too. By the way, that team's final was probably one of the like my all-time favorite.
Well, teams won. They also won just at doubles. They also won at doubles together. Just in this past year. Yeah, wasn't it one of the ones they held in Europe? But anyways,
that don't count then. If it's in Europe, it don't count.
So yeah, but a good event, worth watching. It'll be interesting. This one is I believe the men's stays best of 3 sets all the way through the final. Doesn't get extended like the World Championship versions of the Predator events go.
So the final will be best of 3 also? Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay. Well, that's interesting because before it'd be best of 5 then as the tournament went into that last 32, right? At least.
Yeah,
like
no. For the men's, it's all stages are raced to best of 3, and the women now once they get to the Women's World Championship, when it gets to the final single, when it gets to the single elimination, which is at 16,
dude, here we go,
then they go best of 5 sets.
Our boy Donnie Mills, the only American through into the last 32. Talk about a sleeper. Nitty Donnie.
Well, there's still losers bracket. Isn't Tyler in the losers bracket now, or is he out?
Yeah, but I'm saying like he's undefeated. Who the hell would have thought
in the winners
Donnie Mills would have gone undefeated to qualify to single elimination?
Good for
him. Get him a jersey, Mike. Just get him a damn jersey by now. You know what I mean? Like we can. Donnie knows how to break 9 ball. Look, it's I think it's a decent mix of like some international talent. We see Jeff DeLuna. There's not a lot of Filipinos there. Obviously, the Europeans are there. Glad to see Filler there for sure, and Jason. I think and they've already announced their calendar for next year, Mike. So it's gonna. As I was kind of browsing through it, I did notice some dates were kind of close to like Mosconi Cup stuff, close to Thanksgiving or on top of Thanksgiving, these type of things, Mike. So it's gonna be. I'm gonna be curious to see how the player starts to like branch out as next year kind of spreads out a little bit, and especially once Matchroom announces their calendar, which we're expected to hear by Christmas time, right? Isn't that what she said on some?
She intimated that the players would get it first, like mid-month, like around now, and it would be announced in January. So there's about a 97% chance that some player is going to leak the schedules of somebody.
So it'll come out in like July then, right? Is that what we're thinking?
Well, I don't expect this to get a full calendar when it does come out. If it comes out January 1, I don't expect to see much after July or August other than Mosconi Cup in Orlando. So, there's a lot of fill-in stuff. Is there going to be a Hanoi? Is there going to be, another Philippines Open? Is there going to be, an extra event in the U.S. that they kept hinting about? So, we'll see if that is going to be a World Cup pool. Is there going to be a Whirlpool Masters? All we know so far is that she's hinted that, the beginning of the year we'll have European Open, the UK Open, Premier League pool. Well, there's nothing new there. I mean, that's what we did last
Premier
year.
League pool is so boring though, man. Out of all, it's like my least favorite event.
It's a programming stab for them. Get some new faces out there. I mean, I don't mind it if the players want to.
They'll get AJ. They'll get AJ in Miami.
If the players want to put up with it and have at it, I mean, I don't know for that money if I'd go through the grind that they go through over like series, but if they want to do it, do it.
I wonder if it is a bit of a financial thing with the World Cup of Pool, Mike, given the fact that at least you're going to have 16 teams, right? 32 players. That's 32 flights, 16 hotels you got to go and book. That's a big expense.
No, it was the prize money for the World Cup of Pool was always huge. So, that was a big event to put on, but it was next to Mosconi Cup. That was their the thing that they could sell the most around the world was the World Cup of Pool, as far as getting broadcast partners and having rights fees and things like that. So the World Cup of Pool is the second, was to me, I thought the second number 2 event for them as far as revenue generating in rights.
But it can't. If they're not bringing it back, surely it's got to be some kind of financial issue there.
Well, I mean, did they take that money and dump it into a couple of more open events? I mean, if you look at 3 or 4 years World Cup of Pool and World Pool Masters, and you take those out and you add in the ones that they've added in over the last couple of years, how close to break even are you? I mean, is it really grown? Is it just kind of like lateral moves? I don't know the answer. I should, because it's something that I should have put the pen to paper by now. But
we'll get Keith on it. Don't worry about
it. Yeah, like he said, he's done for this year. He's got all his assignments in, so he's got plenty of time on his hands. I'll send him an email.
Look, they also got a mixed doubles event that's going on out there, which I enjoy seeing. I love Scotch events on the note of like World Cup of Pool.
They got some good matchups. They got some good matchups, fun stuff. I mean, Jason and Savannah, that's pretty cool stuff.
How epic would it be to see? Like, I don't know about you, but as I'm browsing through here, right, and I know it'll probably never happen because sports and pool is just never that generous. But like, if I were to go and cherry pick who I want to see like in a final, like it's them, right? Team Germany, Team Filler, okay, versus Sophia, versus Savannah and Jason. You want to talk about a fun finals there, Mike? I hope we get to see it.
It would be fun. Yeah,
you got the Steyr shoe in there, Mike.
Filler versus Ocean.
Yeah, that'd be a good one too. Yeah, for sure.
Really good.
Who do you out of the couples is going to go the furthest, Mike? Fillers. You got the Steyrs, Sao and Capito. Who else? Oh, Savannah Lou and Yap. Yap's been on a bit of a heater. That's about it when it comes to couples. But there's some interesting dynamics there, Mike. Who do you like to come out of the mixed doubles there? Realistically,
I don't know. Sao and Capito. That on paper, that's a pretty good link there. She's had,
so they're up 3-0 right now on Sophia and Roberto Gomez, so you can't sleep on either. And they had a big win themselves over Victor and Pearl Chang, which was a solid win for them. So give me a finals prediction here, Mike. Who do you like?
I don't know how they line up, but I mean, my top 2 teams would be Josh and Pia and Sal and Capito.
Really? Yeah, these things kind of like show either really interesting like chemistry between players, or like they really expose some people that don't communicate so well. I would say, and so
I've seen a couple of them, like Max. Who did Max play with? He played it with a Taiwanese.
Played with Pearl Chang. Yeah, they always do well. Yeah, they've been teaming up.
Yeah, they've been teaming up real well, and they don't exactly speak the same language, but they've done really well in the past. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know here, man. There's some like killer teams here, Mike. Takachi and Lucados are down right now. One set to
Wei Wei and
devotion.
Mario.
That's a good matchup, Mike. That's okay. I tell you what. That's the one I'm. That's the one I'm gonna pick. Are they on loser side or what? Where are they at?
I don't know.
Fuck, they probably are on loser side. I'm still. You know what? That's my dark horse. I'm picking Wei Wei and Mario. Mario with that break, Mike. I'm telling you, he might. He with when he puts all that into it, he can he he can break a good like slug rack of 10 ball. Trust me. So if I'm picking someone from the loser side, it's definitely going to be those two. On the winner side, Marco's even having a good end of the year. And look at this, you got Fisher and Kazakis. There's some tough teams to bet against here, Mike. That's for sure.
Yeah, Fisher and Kazakis have played. They've played together a ton, and they've done really well. They have really good chemistry. They have a lot of fun together, and both really dangerous.
Yeah, and a lot of experience, Mike. A lot of experience. Like those two have a lot of experience playing on Pro Billiard Series. Kelly's as hot as a pistol right now. Like she's winning Hayball World Championships. She's following that up with a WPBA event, right? Isn't that so? Amongst other things, like she's
Yeah.
playing just some sound pool. And Alex, I mean, he's had a great season, like under the radar, because even though like he primarily will play more of these Pro Billiard Series events, like he's had a really strong.
Been in 2 World Championship finals. That's not really under the radar. That's a pretty good year.
Well, but I mean, like compared to like the Matchroom Circus, I should say. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's the frame of reference, I'm trying to bring up these damn women's event, but it's not coming up here, Mike. For me, who do you like in the World Championships as you're looking through the players list?
Well, it comes down to who's matched up against who in what rounds. But I mean, you've got everybody there. You got the Chinese there. You've got Xia Shai Lu and Han Yu. You've got the Taiwanese players there. Rita Chow, Amber Chen, Wei Wei. You've got Seo Seo. The Rubelin and Cheska.
Damn,
Pia,
that's strong.
Pia, Jasmine. It's stacked.
I'm looking through it
really
now.
Stacked.
My computer's giving me issues or I'd bring it up.
Just everybody who, there's nobody missing right now from this field.
Give me like 4 ladies you're keeping an eye on for this event, Mike.
Han Yu.
Okay, that's
Cheska.
Okay. Without like looking at a draw, obviously. I mean, well, you are, but you know what I'm saying.
Han Yu, Cheska, Jasmine. She rises to the occasion in these events.
She does. She always plays PBS events real well too.
I saw a post that I didn't really think of. She's in line for becoming the first male or female player to win all 3 World Championships as well. She's got the 8 ball and the 10 ball, so she could become the first to win all 3. So I like her. 4th, I would say. Yeah, I don't know.
So you got.
So you got European.
Cheska, Jasmine. Who was the other one you got? Cheska,
Han Yu.
Han Yu. Okay.
And Seo Seo.
Seo. That's a pretty solid team there. I'm with you on team Cheska for sure. Her coming off. She always plays all these Predator Pro Billiard Series events real well. I think Filipinos in general go and step up when it's time for like World Championship.
Rubelin does too. Rubelin plays well.
Yeah. And it's playing 9 ball, which I think really opens it up. Like as far as like the break will be easier for some of these ladies. You know what I mean? Compared to like that slug rack 10 ball that they've been getting when they play these events for the most part. Yeah. Are they playing? What are they playing? Mike, 1 on the spot? Do we know? Probably that'll make a little bit of a difference. But look, I'm with you. I'm taking Cheska. Usually I would take Han Yu because she's just a monster, or has been over the last 15 plus years, Mike. I mean, just absolutely dominated women's pool. But I'm gonna pump the brakes on Han Yu on this one. I'm going with the European who's playing about as hot as ever right now in Kelly. I think like her game and her and consistency and like her mental focus and just riding the wave, like she's on a bit of a tear right now with her wins across a couple different disciplines. She's going to
Right.
be intimidating some players. 9-ball is certainly well within her wheelhouse. I'm going Cheska, Kelly Fisher. I'm going to go with, boy, it's tough. There's a lot of really good players here, Mike. I'm going to go with,
There are. I mean, it's like really big time.
I'm going to go with Rubelin. So I'm picking 2 Filipinos out of the bunch. And you got Christina Tkach sitting down there at the bottom, Mike, as well.
Yeah.
Chow sitting there. I tell you what, I'm going Savannah Easton, making it to quarterfinals. Not, I don't know about semifinals,
Really?
but quarterfinals, I'll say. And there's a lot of young Americans with promising talent that's in this field as well, Mike. I don't want it to be overlooked too. We saw Sophia Mass go on a pretty deep run in a world championship recently. She's got a tough opening round against Jasmine, so that's going to be really difficult. Christina Tkach, obviously, she's going to be a force to be reckoned with, like Raymond says there in the chat. Being hung, like you mentioned, but Kaylee McIntosh, Ashley Benoit, Sophia Mass. There's a lot of Americans that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Allison Fisher, who's representing the red, white, and blue, Mike, as well.
Yeah.
So, who do you think comes
Yeah.
away with the W here?
Overall?
Yeah. If you were going to bet on one.
I pick one that I didn't pick on my 4.
Yeah. Let me guess. Is it going to be Chow? Rita Chow?
No, I was going to go
Rubelin? That's a good pick. That's a good pick for sure. I'm going with another Filipino in Cheska, Mike. I think her style of play is completely unique to anybody else on tour. I think she transcends like fans in terms of like their gender bias, you know what I mean? Because she's just so fun to watch.
Yeah, she is. She just always scares me in a short race thing like this because
that's part of like the chaos of it all,
It is, and it puts a lot of pressure on the other player. But she has been known to shoot a little too quick once or twice in the past, and that's her style, and she doesn't miss much. But you don't get, you can get punished really quickly in a race to 4.
Yeah, I mean, look, then I'm for sure gonna value like a better tactical player and sound decisions where she's a bit of a not a bit of a gunslinger. She's a major gunslinger, but I feel like
that's why I kind of like shifted to Rubelin as far as who could get to the finish line. I like her, I like her probably a little bit more capacity.
It's going to be intense pressure, a lot at stake, Mike. A world championship is going to be on the line. Where are you around this week at all for some more shows or what? Because I want to do more on these events.
Yeah, I'm here. Saturday I'm not around. I'm making ravioli.
Damn, ship it, freeze it, ship it on over. I'll send me the bill.
Yeah, first prize $50,000 for the women, right?
That's solid, man. Yeah, look.
That's really
there's
solid.
A few things that I just love about pool, man, and one of them is world champions, and whether it's 8-ball, 9-ball, 10-ball, I don't care. I love when it's world championship time because I feel like that's where you build legacy. That's where you build, and we've seen this like shift as far as like younger players versus older seasoned players as well. Like it's been a fun shift over the last few years. Asians coming back in the mix. PBS putting a lot of events, WPBA, you name it. So, but I love world championships, Mike. I absolutely love world championships. Raymond says, "Can I get Nona's meatball recipe?" That's going to the grave, my man. I don't know. I hate to things.
We were not big meatball people. We were meat sauce, things like sauce like that.
Sauce
but I got a meatball recipe. When I had the Italians in Chicago, we had meatballs that made people cry. So I got
to do, send me that one. Yeah, ship me first and then Ray later. Hey, listen, I got to go pick up Madeline because she's getting off of school right now, so I got to run. Mike, if you're around tomorrow, I'd love to have you on, and let's jump back into and see where everything kind of settles at tomorrow afternoon. All right, you guys enjoy the rest of your afternoon. A lot of pool to go and watch on the Pro Billiard Series YouTube page as well, along with all these players that are streaming their matches. Go sweat it. Mike, don't put your phone on airplane mode.